pitches to Allen. Got traffic, and the ball's knocked out. It's a fumble. It's a live ball picked up by Kyle Hamilton of Baltimore. So Buffalo went to the tricks, and Allen had it knocked out of his hands. And let's see, I believe some flags down, 2 bills down, including Allen. Allen on the sideline. Dalton Kincaid over by the 50-yard line. Let's watch this here. As he reached back. It's an empty hand coming through, which is almost the guarantee for the fumble as the ball came out. And then we've got a flag back in the middle of the field.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 44 of the recovering team. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. It's 1st and 10, Baltimore.
So the penalty's on Marlon Humphrey. The Buffalo Athletic training staff looking at Josh Allen. Let's take a look at the flag.
There you go. There's the foul, no question about it. But Van Noy is the one who totally made that play. Everything was coming to his side. He saw Josh Allen out of the corner of his eye. He knew what was up. He split the difference between Curtis Samuel and Josh Allen and just made the play. It was brilliant.
So all that momentum stunted by one play by the veteran Van Noy. It's his 3rd straight game with 2 sacks. So as it all gets sorted, the Ravens take over at their own 41. See if the momentum switches back to Baltimore. Derrick Henry runs to the right. What about 4 to the 45?
All right, here we go. Let's take a look at our next gen stats powered by AWS, and not bad, right? This is the leading rusher amongst active players in the NFL, 100-yard games, touchdowns, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely brilliant, ripping down the field. 0.01% touchdown probability. 1/100% that play would happen. I would say that's about right.
That's pretty good. Expected to get 9 yards. That's a lot more than that. Gets 78 more yards than that. Derrick got up to 21.2 miles per hour. Doesn't get full speed here, but gets a ton of yardage. How about 21 yards on that game? 26, I beg your pardon, to the Buffalo 29.
So all the momentum had shifted, right? And you could feel the Bills gaining momentum, and then you turn around and make a play like that, and then Ronnie Stanley with a great block, Henry on the outside, and all of a sudden now things feel very different for the Buffalo Bills.
It's starting to feel different for the fans as forecast second half rain has arrived. 2/3 of the way through this one. Justice Hill inside, Reed Ricard on the block. It's inside the 25-yard line to the 24.
So, Mike, everything when I watch the Ravens play is about misdirection. There's the rain, so you see all that, and they're used to it here. But it is, so on that play, they don't do anything just one way. So fake the screen to the outside, hand it off up the middle. Derrick Henry go to the right, Lamar Jackson go to the left. So everything built inside of this offense is to try and slow down the aggressiveness of the defense, especially on that linebacker level.
Flowers in motion. That's the eye candy. Hill. And nothing happening with Smoot. So I've had enough of this. We'll stop them. And it's a loss back to the 26-yard line. Loss for a couple. The feeling around these Ravens is that this offense is going to keep building and keep finding more of that misdirection, more of the get guys free. We haven't called the tight ends in a while. Do you start getting Likely and Andrews involved? On a 3rd down, 3rd and 7, Likely's on the field. Lamar Jackson goes to Hill. Open field, breaks a tackle. Spins away from another. To the 9. 4-star play. 1st down, Baltimore. Inside the 10.
Like, nothing comes that easy that doesn't have something orchestrated inside of it. Watch the little pick on the outside. I think it was Zay Flowers coming down inside, and he just going to turn around, and all that meant was the defensive back had to loop back around just far enough for Justice Hill to be able to get his eyes on him and make that move.
Got it from the 9, no, fake it. Lamar Jackson's going to take it to the end zone. Baltimore touchdown. The Allen turnover turns into Lamar Jackson running it in for the second time this year.
Everything goes right here. Watch Isaiah Likely inside. Watch Mark Andrews, the other guy right there who's going to get the block. Everybody went down inside for Justice Hill, and here comes the cavalry to the outside. They aren't there yet. They're not what they're going to be, but they're pretty dang good the last 2 weeks.
And Tucker adds the extra point. Didn't you just say sometimes all the misdirections, hard to figure out who's got the ball?
Gotcha.
They got me, son of a gun. Slice the MVP. Little sleight of hand, and Lamar keeps it in his hands. To put Baltimore back on top by 18. Indianapolis, 30 miles south of here. We'll be off to an undefeated start in football. Army as well. Down to the Bills sideline, Melissa.
Mike, we saw Josh Allen take that big hit when he fumbled the ball. He came out of the game, sat on the bench. The head athletic trainer and the team doctor had a conversation with him, but no evaluation. He was clearly frustrated. He was looking at the tablet and then slammed it on the ground. Then he got up. He was trying to loosen up his throwing arm. He threw on the sideline, half a dozen throws. That's the first time we have seen him do that all game before a series.
All right, Melissa, thanks for watching. As you know, you've watched Josh over these now 7 years. As tough as they come in the league, a lot of traffic around him as he threw that one. That pass incomplete. Brandon Stevens one more time over there. We've called him a lot here in this second and third quarter.
Mike, let me just tell you a little bit about the psychology of this game. Buffalo knows that Baltimore is one of those teams, right? Kansas City, Cincinnati. Go down the list. We know who the teams are. The big rivalry teams. If you think Josh Allen's leaving this game after one hit from the bullies on the block here tonight, there's no way. Even if he has to hand off the rest of this game, not happening.
Number 30, Allen scanning, rips it in the middle, and there goes Dalton Kincaid. 25 yards to 45. Marlon Humphrey and Eddie Jackson bring him down.
There's always going to be a gap right between those two interior players. And they've got their back turned, so they don't know where that is. But if you don't throw it right off the hip there of Kyle Hamilton, there's not room in between the next guy. So that's the opportunity.
Allen quick to Kincaid, gets an edge block, gets about 5 yards. Mark him at 41. Gain of 4. Rookie record season for tight ends in Buffalo. He had last year, guy went from a walk-on to all Pac-12 and All-American. Dalton Kincaid, he and Dawson Knox, the 1-2 tight end combo.
Yeah, and Dalton Kincaid really has become the receiving factor, right? We've talked about Khalil Shakir there. There's the number 1 receiver, Cook, and Kincaid sort of matched up as the number 2. So a wide out, a tight end, a running back. 3 primary targets here for the Bills.
2nd and 6. Allen protected, back shoulder throw. They've gone to Coleman twice on the same route, and he's cashed both in the second half. Gain of 21.
I mean, that was a tighter squeeze. Wasn't the distance there on the boundary, and still Josh able to get it squeezed in there. Maybe this is that breakout night for Coleman.
20, Allen bouncing, scanning, throwing away.
So this is a good offensive line, and in particular, I kind of like to watch these tackles play a little bit. They've got a technique on the outside, Mike, that, you know, the little kick step that they do, boom, boom, get it under. You watch the Buffalo Bills tackles, that first step, they barely get their foot on the ground. It's how quickly can they get the second one on the ground so they don't get bull rushed back into the quarterback.
Spencer Brown, 79, is the right tackle, bottom of the screen. Deion Dawkins, the left tackle. I see what you're talking about there. Allen throws inside. The 14-yard line goes Coleman for a gain of 6.
Yeah, and I think Deion Dawkins is about as quick a guy with his steps as I see around the league. And he obviously has been the player, Pro Bowler the last 3 years. But watch this left foot, how quickly it gets on the ground, and then a second one. And then sometimes a third one, but at least that second one so he can get the power back in and not get jammed back into the quarterback.
There they are. Kind of like a boom boom, like the Law and Order thing.
That's it.
There you go. 3rd and 4. All throws. 6 plays on this drive. Corner coming. Can Allen get away from Humphrey? Yes, he can the first time. Trying to stiff arm and could not get away from Adafe Owe.
Rolling on the field, quarterback is down by contact. 4th down.
Markham at the 30. Field goal from there is 48 yards. Owe chasing down Allen.
Owe has turned into a pretty special player on the outside. 5 sacks a season ago. And don't know what this counts as, but hopefully a sack for him. That would get him up to 3.5 on this year already.
Yep. Give that to him. End of the 3rd. 4th down coming up. Baltimore by 18. Sunday Night Football continues after these. Sites are provided by Nationwide. Beautiful city. Get a look at Baltimore, Maryland here. Home of the Ravens. Baltimore plays its 29th season. The Super Bowl banners. Super Bowl 35 and 47. I led that Super Bowl. Joe Flacco still rolling. They again with Joe Flacco stepping in for Indianapolis earlier today. 4th down. Buffalo needs 3 scores. Trying to get one here with Tyler Bass. Begins the 4th quarter with a 48-yard field goal attempt. Wide left. Second miss of the season for Bass. And Baltimore, the 18-point lead, will take over at the 38.
One of the more unusually talented fullbacks in the game for a man his size, Patrick Ricard. So let's take a look at the Walmart Plus 4K Skycam and feature him inside. 350 pounds between he and Derrick Henry. And so many times he is the unknown, the unseen block that springs Henry on so many of these big plays. Here was the key one. The trap basically back inside, and Henry just takes off, does not get caught. And so Patrick Ricard, you won't hear his name called often, but he is a big part of this offense.
Big to Henry. Lamar Jackson got Mark Andrews downfield blocking for him. He'll take it into Buffalo territory to the 43. Melissa, what about Lamar?
Been watching him down here on the sidelines after the Ravens 3 and out. He went to talk to the entire offensive line, very frustrated, said, calm down, just chill, we've got this. And then after their last touchdown drive, completely different demeanor, went over, gave every member of the offensive line a high five, said every time, we do that every time, they want to keep the foot on the gas.
He is the unquestioned leader of this group. Tosses to Henry. On the Bills, Henry gets knocked down hard after a gain of a couple of yards. We visit with Lamar Jackson. You should visit with the quarterbacks every week in person, right? So we've been doing this with Lamar for 6-7 years now. Kind of find a guy who really feels like he's the leader of this team, and he's going to do it his way. It feels like he's a little bit different now.
And very comfortable in his own skin now. He really is. It was sort of a battle to get that big contract signed. Nobody really knew what was going to happen. They finally got the deal done. What happens? He goes out and wins the Most Valuable Player award. So that's putting a statement on. I told you I was worth it.
And so is this guy, Derrick Henry, down the sideline to the 1. Rasul Douglas there at the end with the tackle when Henry turned the corner for 39 yards.
All right, let's watch them all get their job done. Andrews, likely, and then Ricard, we just talked about him. All 3 of them get key blocks. Watch this. 1, 2, here comes the last one, 3. and Henry is gone. They look like they could be something, Mike. They just do.
A little side shift. Now Henry up to 184 yards. Leads the league in rushing. Trying to get his third touchdown of the night, but is stopped by Dwayne Carter. The rookie out of Duke takes a few yards off the Henry total tonight. But still impressive numbers with 332 in the last 2 weeks.
We thought he was incredible last week. He dwarfed those numbers tonight. It was brilliant, right? It was a brilliant move by the Ravens to pick up Derrick Henry and understand that.
Big to Hill. Jackson floating for Bateman. Flag down, pass incomplete. Does not survive the ground. Flag thrown in the back of the end zone for a defensive hold.
Yeah, end up grabbing the jersey as he was going across. Slingshotted.
The pass, holding, number 31 defense. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
They still have that in NASCAR. You slingshot your way past people.
Yes.
Well, about halfway across the field there, he got the slingshot. Caught up, but got caught too. There we go. Watch this slingshot.
There you go.
I think that's right back in there.
Talladega Super Speedway next week. Get that effect. Well, the cheers were not just the Ravens fans, but the fantasy owners of Derrick Henry as he comes back in with the ball at the 2, and Buffalo takes a timeout to get sorted on defense.
First charge timeout.
So timeout here.
How about a little comparison here, right? Eric Dickerson, what do we remember him for? Mike, you remember how straight up the guy ran? And I never saw a running back that ran that vertical when he got out in open space. What do we see tonight? Check this out. Kind of looks like that, right? Flying down the field, same size kind of guy. It's unbelievable. We've been talking about this all week. I'm like, who does he remind me of? He reminds me of somebody. Oh, yeah, Eric Dickerson. And both of them spectacular players. And I tell you what, it's just fun to be around him. And you know, Derrick Henry, for as big and tough and mean and all that stuff he's supposed to be.
So nice.
Could not be a nicer guy.
Love talking to him about the backs he watched growing up. Dickerson, one of them. Got the handoff here to the right. Galen Spector did a great job coming in there first for the first contact. Stopped. No gain. Melissa.
Yeah, Derrick Henry told us he modeled his game after the Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson. So I reached out to Eric to get his take, and he said, I absolutely see the similarities. He's the only guy I see right now that reminds me of me. And Dickerson told me when he met Henry in person at an autograph signing, he was like, dang, you are big. So he stood up next to him to compare the size, and Henry made the 6'3" Dickerson feel small.
That's saying a lot. Henry lone back, second and goal. To him again on that right side. Ball comes out, fallen on by Rosengarten, but he couldn't squeeze it. Let's see who's got it at the bottom of the pile. It's a touchdown or a touchback. Lamar Jackson says touchdown.
I'm not so sure it's not Patrick Ricard. This may be the ultimate payback. All the blocks that Ricard has thrown, maybe not. But I thought it was.
The ball clearly out before the plane.
Ricard has no idea where that ball is at this point. It's going to kick around a little bit. And I think it kicked right back to him.
Confirmed a touchdown. Who gets credit? We'll never know. But we will. We will. We'll see officially what they tell us. As the extra point by Tucker makes it 35-10. Ricard's got that smile. The big guys get a little payoff there in the end zone.
100 miles out in the Gulf. And it was like it was happening there. It was a big hurricane.
Wind damage.
Please do.
Yeah, wind damage, flooding damage, and some of the scenes out of western portions of North Carolina as well. Just discovering how impactful it was. So I think of a lot of folks around our country here tonight. Buffalo take over at their own 30-yard line. This is a season of transition and change. Buffalo, if you think about the Skyway over there in Buffalo, a lot of folks hopping off the ramp, if you will. 10 former Pro Bowlers are no longer here on the roster for tonight. A bunch of guys hopped off the exit and left to other places. See Hoyer one way, Hyde, Davius White. Matt Milano's one guy who's still here, but he's on the side of the road right now on injured reserve. That's a lot of people. And really, if you look at the names, Chris, like Diggs and Hoyer and Hyde, the core of the success of 4 straight AFC East titles, as Matt Collins is replacing another one of those guys, Gabe Davis, drops that one. And for Brandon Beane, he knew the 3-0 start, but the general manager also knew that this is a readjust of this team here a little bit around Josh Allen.
They're going to be fine. They're playing a really good football team out here tonight. And I think the other thing you have to keep in mind with that many new faces, I think we talked about it early in the game, is playing against Lamar and Derek. This is like a one-off. It's like playing the military academy when you're in college.